Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Mokete Moetela show with me, Mokete Majakane. I really missed you guys. And welcome back. Today, we will be talking about high-performing teams. So, I've decided to introduce some of the work that we are doing at Namadisha Mending Center. We have a consulting division where we work with corporate and organizations to build them and help them with management and leadership strategies and style. That's why I'm bringing you this. So we are going to have two short videos. I'm going to divide this into two. So we'll have High Performing Teams Part 1 and High Performing Teams Part 2. All right. So, and some of the slide will show as we go on. So the name of the topic is High Performing Teams. What constitutes a high performing team? Teams are made of individuals. The individuals or the people that you have on a team are very, very important. Their personalities, their skills and qualifications, their attitude towards work and everyone else are very important. We don't just look at qualification only and the ability to do work, but how they relate with other people, because they have to deliver jobs or projects or works as a team. Now, the individuals that form any type of a team must be able to lead themselves. In most cases, people who are proactive, who are able to lead themselves, who are able to work without supervisions, they actually make great team members. So you can see that on the second slide, I'm talking about leading self, mind renewal, and being led. All right. So these are some of we have programs that focus only on these three aspects, and these are only focusing on building a high-performing individual, not a team. But I just brought them in here that they are very important to focus on because of the individuals that make that team. So you must be able, mind renewal talks about being able to learn new things and unlearn the old things and adapting to the new. 2020 and 2021 has actually shifted the ground a great deal. A lot of things are going digital. Everything is being done, almost everything is being done online. We are forced now to unlearn some things and learn new things. Now we have to know how to save things on the cloud, because now we can't be at the office the whole time to do the physical filing, for instance, So mind renewal is very important as you go in the organization. The more individuals work on themselves, the more actually it benefits the organization. So you want to get people who believe in constant growth in your team when you hire those people. Being led, again, they must be able to be teachable. They must be able to submit under some coaching or mentorship, and then they will be able to value additions from other team members, either they are junior or senior. There's nothing as frustrating as having a team member or a leader who cannot even listen to junior people when they have valuable and important inputs in the project or on whatever that you'll be working on. Now, on the third slide, you can see I'm asking there, which one is an ideal colleague? We have three types of people. I'm asking, who is your ideal colleague? All right, is it an independent person or a dependent person? Between these two, which one is ideal? So when we come to your firm and work with you to help you develop or form teams, we actually assess this type of personalities and people and help them come together or balance the team. According to me, an interdependent is the best option to have. An interdependent person adds more value than an independent person. Let me give you an example. An independent person, they do everything by themselves. If maybe they can delegate, hardly able to delegate work actually. And actually great managers and great leaders are very good with delegation because you can't do everything by yourself. And you must also coach the people behind you. If you're in a workplace and you are not coaching those who are junior to you, preparing them for a level greater than where they are currently, then you're not doing it right, okay? And you're just an independent person. You just want to keep all the work to yourself. You're not a great team player either. Maybe they're not telling you this, but it's not a good thing to do. You are making work difficult for other people. A dependent person. We also have managers, or even at the junior level, we have people who just don't want to do the work. All right, they come and ask you, can you just type this document for me? I'm kind of busy with something. And then they go to the next person, can you just please do this for me? I'm kind of busy with something. And then these are the people that you will see in meetings. They are presenting reports that they don't know anything about because they didn't even bother to learn the work. They didn't even bother to read or try to understand what is going on, what is the content and stuff like that. All right, you must be interdependable. You must be able to work with others. People must be able to depend on you. You must also be able to depend on yourself, but everything in moderation, okay? So now there are 5 development stages, all right, in any team. Now this applies in relationships, in families, in teams at work, in projects, everywhere. Even if you are starting a new board member team, you're still going to go through these stages as you develop as a team. So when we come to your organization, we actually help assess where you are on one of the stages and how to get out of it. Because some teams actually, they find themselves being stuck on one stage and they're unable to get out of, or they don't know how to break through to move to a better stage where they're productive and able to work. And I'll give you an example. I'll try to give you an example of a workplace and a relationship, an example so that you can see how you can relate or change some things in your life. So with team development stages, we have the forming stage, storming stage, norming stage, performing, and the morning stage. So I'm going to go I'm not going to go in depth. I'll just summarize what they are about, and then we'll take it from there. All right. Okay, so the first one is the forming stage. The forming stage is characterized by orientation. This is where we are new, we are meeting for the first time, we are joining the team. Actually, sometimes it's not necessarily, it might not always be the first time. For instance, in projects, you find that we're able to pull resources from the finance department and resources from the HR department. So it's not the first time we're working for the same organization, but we are coming together as a team for a certain project for the first time. Okay, so this also applies to those kind of teams. It also applies to people who will be meeting for the first time. It also applies in relationships when you are meeting a partner for the first time. As a family, maybe you are getting a new baby, or the aunt is coming to stay with you for the first time. Or even newborn babies, they actually, you will go through this as long as you are a team. Okay, so in this phase, this is where impressions are actually drawn. If you can check, if you're already in a team, just think about the time when you met your colleague or your team member, the first impression that you had about them. Because you'll find that when we do these things with organizations, I remember when we were at AFM in Pretoria West, when we're asking them, ask this gentleman, what did you think of your colleague, when you saw them the first time, and the other one was saying, I actually thought they're very prideful, they're very egoistic, because he didn't want to talk to everyone, he kept to himself. And later on, they realized that, no, actually, some people are shy, some people are introverts, some people are extroverts, So, but impressions are formed actually in the forming stage. It happens automatically everywhere you go. A colleague of mine once said to me that they thought that I'm a very bad person and a bully and that I like to fight, And I was like, what? Those who have worked with me, those who know me, will be like, fight me. I mean, Yeah, no, you see. So impressions will always be drawn in the beginning when we are in the forming stage of the team development process. Okay. Now, the second stage is called the conflict stage. All right. So the conflict stage, it happens in every team, and we have good conflict. We have what we call a healthy conflict. We also have too little conflict, which is not good. We also have too much conflict, which is not good. So when we come to organization, we actually help assess where you are and then take measures to make sure that we remedy the situation, or we develop you into being a high-performing team. Now, I'm just going to give a summary. Summary, because the rest of the work you must just pay me to tell you about it. So I'm going to explain a little bit about how a little conflict looks like and how too much conflict looks like, just a little bit. Okay, so I was reading the concept called the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. It was written by Patrick Lencioni. Okay, so Patrick Lencioni came up with a continuum of weighing or gauging which one is a healthy conflict, and how do you move from the worst to the good, and how do you move from the bad to the good. Okay, so how do we get to a healthy, productive conflict and make sure that it does not get out of hand? So those are the things that we address when we consult with teams. Okay, because you can, if you check the behavior of persons where there is too little conflict, it would be that maybe team members don't like to speak. So we are using a Patrick Lencioni strategy that he developed when he was working on the 5 dysfunctions of a team. So we only extracted the part where he's showing us the continuum of conflict, and how do we get to a healthy, productive conflict and make sure that the bad conflict does not get out of hand in an organization. Because Lencioni states that fear of conflict is the second dysfunction of a team. It prevents the team from reaching their true potential. All right, so this fear is an unwillingness to engage in productive, unfiltered debate that ultimately leads to discomfort, stress, and growth. So you can see here that I have a diagram. This is Patrick Lencioni's conflict continuum. It's his diagram that we are using, or the strategy that we are using at Namadisha Mending Center. So if you can check on the far left, we have artificial harmony, and on the far right, we have personal attacks. This is where there's too much conflict, that there's just personal attacks that leads to unproductivity in the team or organizations. On the far left, we have artificial harmony that are characterized by pretense, where team members pretend like everything is okay. They pretend like they understand what they're doing, whereas they're just there to deliver the work and go home. Artificial harmony means zero inflict. Zero conflict getting along, because we told ourselves that no, we are just adult, but we don't understand each other. We are not connected, all right? And so we are just fake, basically. On the far right, it's personal attacks, and there's intense, harsh, ill-intentioned conflict. There is no productivity at all on the far right. So this type of conflict creates a toxic culture and leads to a lack of productivity. The problem with the artificial harmony is that people are not fully vested in the goals or what they have to achieve. People will not even make sacrifices to get some things done. You find that when you are trying to propose new ideas, there's even a lot of resistance to change in the organization. In most cases, if you check, there's artificial harmony. The people don't understand why things must change, why must they happen. Who cares? We're just here to do the work and go home. You, as an organization, you want to move to the ideal conflict point. Conflict is healthy. Conflict is important, but it must be a productive one. So now I'm going to stop here, and then we are going to shoot High Performance Teams Part 2, where we'll be discussing the norming stage of the team development stages. Thank you. Stay tuned.